And so with your Bartz Brigade and the foundation, I know we've done stories with you in the past. Could you just tell us a little bit about the work that your foundation does?
Right. So we were created on August 19th of 2015 when my son Trent died by suicide. And I kind of got it in my mind that I never wanted another parent, another brother, sister, anybody ever to feel how I felt from losing Trent. So I knew that people with mental health were struggling, and the stigma that was attached to being open about your mental health. So and I know money was always a tight thing for people to get mental health help. So we just started this. We got together and decided, hey, we're gonna do this. We had no clue what we were doing, but 10 years later, we're raising a lot of money and helping people, those in need. You know, a lot of our stuff is financial. We help people with co-pays in their insurance or what have you. We help with gym memberships. We just recently sponsored 5 nurses that were over at UPMC for self-defense classes based upon what their trauma that they received. So things like that is what we do.
How going through the experience that you went through with your son, how important is it for people that might be watching this to know that there are folks like you out there to help them if they need it?
It's extremely important. You know, when you talk about mental health, a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of we focus mainly on school-age kids and veterans because Trent was in the military, and he had just recently graduated from high school. But when you talk about mental health, people are afraid to admit that, you know, I might suffer from some type of anxiety and or depression. And when I do talk to people, I ask them, I said, so how many people don't have some type of mental health concern? And I get, once in a while, I get people say, well, I'm fine. I'm like, no, come on, think about it. You've been depressed. You've been sad. You've been anxious. You have a mental health concern. It's just a matter of what end of the spectrum you're on. So when we talk about that, we want people to be open and be able to say, yeah, I have some type of depression. I have some type of anxiety. It really affects how I function on a daily basis. So
You mentioned your son again being in the military. If we could just ask you, you know, what branch he served in, if you just want to tell us a little bit about him.
Yep, he was in the 203rd Military Intelligence Battalion Unit for the Army Reserves, stationed down in Aberdeen, Maryland. He joined the Army in his senior year. It was the Army Reserves. Joined his senior year. He wanted to go full time. He didn't want reserves, but Dad wanted him to go to college. And one of the biggest mistakes I made, I should have let him do what he wanted to do, not what I wanted him to do. And so yeah, he went basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then went down to Fort Gordon, Georgia, and did his advanced training, and was stationed up here. He joined in 2012, and then he passed away in 2015. So he was there for 3 years.
In putting your group together over the last 10 years, like you said, you've worked in the community, and now to get this honor from the 4 chaplains for the work that you've done in your county, how does that make you feel?
I'm humbled. When we did this, when Trent died, I went through a lot of trauma, and when you lose a child, it's different. I've lost both my parents. I've lost my older sister. I've lost them to cancer. But when you lose a child, especially to suicide, it's a whole different loss than one would ever experience. And the thought behind the organization was nothing more than just to help people. And it's like I said, it started out as a financial thing. And to be recognized for something like that just goes to show that, you know, that what we're doing is right, is we're helping people, and it's not about me, it's not about the awards, it's about giving back to the community. And that's the kind of thing Trent would do. Real quick story, I'll never forget it, was a senior in high school. He played football at Eastern, and he was a horrible, I shouldn't say horrible, he was always second string, that kind of athlete who, you know, tried his best and always wanted to be the best he could. His senior year, he told me, he says, "Dad, all I want to do is start one game." And he was the center. Of course, he always put the unathletic ones at the center, right? He ended up starting the entire year. But anyway, so that's the kind of kid he was. He always gave back. One of his teammates had a fire at his house his senior year. And Trent went around to the local Rudders, Turkey Hills, and the local restaurants with jars, and put jars out so that he could collect money to help his teammate rebuild his house. And that was just one of the things that Trent would do. A lot of his high school friends, you'll see, in fact, they have tattoos with his signature on it, with his number. And some of them have tattoos, they call him the protector or his warrior, because he was always standing up for the little guy. So that was kind of the motivation behind the foundation, that we're going to stand up for the little guy, the ones that can't help themselves, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get them the help that they need.
I know over the years we've covered some of your events. One that I've seen that looks like it's one of your bigger ones is the butterfly event.
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit about that and what it is, and then sort of how you came up with that idea?
Yep. So it's called Butterflies on the Lawn. It was actually started as Lanterns on the Lawn back in 2015. Started at John Wright. And what we did is we had a little event. We had a social. We got together with just people that wanted to talk about mental health. And we were going to set off some lanterns, the sky lanterns. And it was a bad night. We couldn't do it. And this was in November of 2015. So we saved the sky lanterns. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this in the summertime on Trent's heavenly birthday, you know, on the day that he passed away. We're going to do it at John Wright. So we had I bought 100 sky lanterns, and we set them off. And it was really very spectacular. They went up in the sky, and they floated down through the river. The next year we bought 300 and sold all of those. That's how we started raising money too. Sold all of those and did the same thing. Well, the next year we bought like 500. And we set like 500 lanterns off all at one time. And right after we set the lanterns off, a storm blew in from Wrightsville and blew all the lanterns back into Wrightsville. And we almost burnt Wrightsville down. So we were kind of like, all right, maybe we're not going to do this anymore. And somebody suggested butterflies. Not quite as spectacular, but a little bit more symbolic. And so we've been doing that every year. And again, now last year we moved it to Windridge Farms. So it's kind of relevant there because the owner of Windridge had passed away last year by suicide. And so it's kind of a little bit more symbolic there, and the perfect location. We'll be doing it again this year. I think it's on Sunday, August 10th. And then another thing we did too to raise money was Trent was a CrossFitter. So those that are watching in the CrossFit community, they know about the CrossFit workouts and stuff like that. So he was one of the original 10 members of a gym called Black Powder CrossFit. And the owner of Black Powder, who actually now trains military personnel in Texas with physical fitness, she said, let's raise some money. And they created a workout, they call it Trent. And we would get together on his anniversary date, and we'd do the workout in a gym, and we raise money. We'd have stuff like that, and so we do that every year. And well, we don't do the CrossFit workout anymore. Now we do what's called a ruck. 2 years ago, we did a 22-mile ruck where we went from the airport in Thomasville and went right down 462 to John Wright, and then we held our butterfly event right after that. So, and every mile we stopped and did 22 push-ups. So, and that's kind of like the 22 veterans a day that died by suicide. Of course, it's down to 17 now. It's still way too many. but that kind of gives you the feeling of somebody who's struggling with mental health, what they might be going through, in that, you know, the things that you can't notice. We get that physical part of it. And might be what somebody who's struggling with mental health or contemplating suicide might be feeling. It's just very humbling to know that people are concerned and people recognize you for the efforts that you do. Like I said, it's not about me. It's about helping people, and I know damn well that's what Trent would do. Yeah. We talk about this. The military will spend billions of dollars, which is rightfully so, to bring home our fallen. And we'll spend billions of dollars to save some. As long as we save one, that's all that counts. And I know we've helped some people. I don't have any numbers, and I'll never be able to get numbers. But as long as we save one life, it's all worth it.